Good morning. Welcome to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Cara DeFalco.
And I'm Dina Delisa Gonzer. And I don't have to say I'm in for Cara DeFalco because she's here live with me. It's so good to see you.
So this is so funny because we have known each other for many years.
Yes.
This was like a COVID friendship.
Yes.
So we've always known one another virtually. And this is the first time we're actually meeting in person. And
It
we're
was
so excited.
crazy. Yes. And when I came in to fill in for you, I'm like, this is so weird. It's like I know her and I'm filling in for her, but I still haven't seen you like live in person. So this is going to be really fun.
Yes.
We're really excited.
And we're so excited to do the show together in the studio together, and that is going to just be a lot of fun for us as well. So we're really excited about today's show.
Welcome to our chaos.
Yes, exactly. Let's get to it. The New Jersey Business and Industry Association's Public Policy Forum took place yesterday. Here to give us a full recap is NJBIA Chief Government Affairs Officer Christopher Emigholz. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Well, good morning very much, both of you. Thank you for having me.
So now you've had 5 New Jersey gubernatorial candidates at your Public Policy Forum. What were some of your takeaways in terms of their approach to New Jersey's economy?
I think BIA was lucky yesterday, and honestly, the state is lucky that we had 5 strong candidates all express their views on how to handle the business climate and the economy in New Jersey. And what I took away is there were a lot of commonalities. Obviously, in this world that we live in today, a lot of people want to find where people are different and where people disagree. And I saw a lot of people up there on stage, 5 strong candidates that focused on, hey, New Jersey's not affordable enough for the average person, the average small business, the average large business to attract and create jobs in the state. A lot of people talked about the workforce that we need, and we need more skilled workers, more technical workers, and people that can innovate and have high skills. And for whatever reason, we don't have as much of that as we should. We have some of that, and that's a strength of New Jersey, but we got to build on that and make it stronger. I think we heard about the need to rein in spending, and obviously there's going to be differences between the candidates on how best to do that. But I was pleased to hear that all of them see affordability as an issue, and all of them see that maybe spending needs to be focused in the right areas, and we got to control it a little better.
And I love that you touched on affordability. So NJBIA came out with the 66th annual Business Outlook survey this week, and more than 600 New Jersey businesses were asked how the next governor could help them. And the top answer was to lower business taxes, property taxes. Why is that such a big deal for businesses in New Jersey?
That's a great question. And I think it's even more so than that. Obviously, property tax is number one. And it's not news to anybody watching your show that New Jersey has high property taxes. We are the highest in the nation by many metrics. But what's interesting is the top 4 responses in that survey that you referred to in that question all came back to affordability issues. Number 1 was property taxes. Number 2 was healthcare cost, health insurance cost. And most employers in the state provide healthcare to their employers. It's still the dominant way that people get health insurance through their employers. Employers want to do that, but it's getting more and more expensive to do, and they're struggling with that, and that's a big cost for them. Number 3 is the corporate income tax. And number 4, again, goes back to insurance, but those business insurance costs, workers' compensation, commercial liability, that sort of thing. All those costs are going up. And I think some of it are things that are in the state's control, like our tax climate. And some of those things are because of the inflationary climate that we've been seeing in for years. It's affecting you when you go to the grocery store, and it's affecting us when we see our bills and businesses when they pay their bills. And it's frustrating and it's hard for everyone. And I think we saw it come out of the recent election. It's in the news all the time. But those costs are hard. And property taxes, a lot of people assume property taxes are a residential thing. And obviously the people of New Jersey for years have been struggling with these very, very high property taxes. But businesses pay about half the property taxes in the state. And for a lot of small businesses, it is the very highest tax they pay. Other taxes matter. The thing about New Jersey that is troublesome to me is we have this unrelenting tax environment where the 4 major taxes are all very high in New Jersey, and we're unique in that no other state in the nation is in the top third in each of the 4 major taxes: property, income, sales, and corporate taxes, except New Jersey. That's not a thing that I want New Jersey to be known for.
Yeah, those are definitely hard things to hear, but glad that it's on everyone's radar now. Another thing we're starting to hear about is the fiscal cliff facing New Jersey. In Governor Murphy's final budget of his tenure, he has already called for departments to reduce spending 5%. Why are we in this position, and what can we do to get out of it?
It's hard because it's inextricably linked between our tax climate and affordability climate and our state budget. And unless we right this fiscal ship we're in, we're never going to be able to fix some of the affordability issues that we have. I think for years now, we've seen our spending outpace our revenue growth. And we just passed a budget back in June where the state proposed to spend $2.1 billion more than it brought in. And we know that if there's a business that ran that way, if there's a household sitting around your kitchen table planning your budget and looking at your checkbook and balances, that you can't spend $2.1 billion or a significant chunk of your earnings where those are going out the door more than they're coming in. And so that is why we have the struggles that we have. And that's only going to get worse because we have more payments coming online. We have to maintain some of the payments that we've recently made. Governor Murphy and the legislature do deserve some credit that we have gotten to a place where we're 100% of our pension payment. We've gotten to a place where 100% of school aid per the formula that we have. We've built up a healthier surplus than previous governors that both parties had. Those are all good things. But having that structural balance, if somebody were to go back and say, hey, if we didn't have a structural balance, but we didn't have as healthy of a surplus, is that probably a better, healthier situation for the future? It may be. So how do we get out of this place where we're facing this structural imbalance, this $2 billion? That's going to drain down our surplus. It's going to drain down it next year. And we have a $6.1 billion surplus. That goes away in a hurry if you're spending $2 billion more than you bring in every year. So what happens is either state has to cut programs that a lot of people in New Jersey might depend upon, or we have to increase costs on what we already talked about as one of the highest tax states in the nation, and we can't afford to increase taxes. So I think we need to do a better job of reining in our costs. One of the frustrations I have is that there's a lot of things that we spend money on that are good for the citizens of New Jersey that are needed. I mentioned pension and school aid. It's a good thing that we're spending money on that, protecting all the vulnerable, the disabled, folks that need help from government. That's what government's there for. But we've also spent a lot of money in recent years after the government proposed the budget, in the middle of the night when we're passing the budget, and it's been billions of dollars over the past few years. If we didn't spend that, we'd be in a much better fiscal situation. And we also have to look at avoiding new programs that can make sure we can pay for the programs that are currently in statute.
Yeah, a lot of important stuff that needs to be covered, like you said, and then things that we don't necessarily need. Some of the conversation yesterday also talked about President-elect Trump's promise of tariff increases, which there seems to be a bit of confusion around. How might that impact New Jersey businesses and manufacturers?
Tariffs are complicated, and there's a lot of talk about it because obviously presidential election dominated everyone's talk for the past few months. And I think there are things that the business community sees from President-elect Trump, former President Trump, that we're excited about. The idea of lowering federal taxes, lowering some federal regulations. I think that's something that will help trigger the economy and economic growth. What I worry about is the talk about tariffs and the talk on immigration. Specifically on tariffs, we just talked about affordability being a major issue in our state. Tariffs will make things more expensive. Now, if they are surgically done in a way that is focusing on the products that there's redundancies, that we're making something in New Jersey, we're making something in America, why do we need to go overseas for it? So if we're focusing on those things that are easily found here, and thus the tariffs are driving people to buy from that New Jersey, that American manufacturer, that's a good thing for creating jobs, good things for helping the manufacturers and those manufacturing jobs in our state and our nation. That's great. If we're not surgical about it and we focus on broad tariffs and just going after certain countries, there are manufacturers in the state, members of BIA, important manufacturers that create a lot of jobs that might need a product that's made overseas, and there's nowhere else in the world they can get that. And now it's going to be more expensive. And guess what? If that's more expensive, it's more expensive for that manufacturer to buy, which might hurt their business and hurt their jobs. It's more expensive when they sell it back to the consumer, and it's going to make things more expensive in the stores, more expensive at restaurants, more expensive in those energy, utility, insurance bills that we get. So I think we need to do it the right way, and I'm worried that it might be overly broad, but if it does accomplish that, pushing us to in-state, in-nation manufacturers, it could be a good thing.
Christopher, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to thank you as well. Thank you so much for your time. Christopher Emigholz from NJBIA, Chief Government Affairs Officer. We appreciate your time today.
No, thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, really interesting stuff there. Important stuff.
Yeah, I know it seems kind of scary to hear what we're facing, but on the other hand, it's great to know that they're talking about it, and they're talking about things in these forums that are important to us and affect us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.